New York City, January 31st, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. I always say it, when boxing gets it right, no other sport comes close. And this is boxing getting it right. The best fighting the best. Both fighters believe that this matchup settles the argument about who leads the new era. So what do we think of the Styles matchup, guys? This is a high-speed chess match a la Sugar Ray Leonard or Pernell Whitaker, Leonard and Benitez, or yes, Pernell Whitaker, Buddy McGirt, or is it a Jerry versus Jerry fight, right? Because no one wants to take the lead. Or, Malik, I'll start with you.
I think it's a very special fight. It's the type of matchups we always are acting for. When it comes to explosiveness, I would have to go with Tio.
Stylistically, man, how does Shakur beat Tio and vice versa? Stylistically, how does Tio beat Shakur?
Stylistically, Tio got to go in and go for broke. He got to go gamble. He got to take some, get some, and that's the only way to win.
I think you're going to need a couple of rounds, but the first round is going to be very interesting. Maybe you see some tails, but I think maybe 2 or 3 you're going to start seeing one lead the other.
Boxing pros are sounding the alarm as Shakur Stevenson is set to step into the ring with Teofimo Lopez. And many believe the move could backfire badly. According to several seasoned pros, Stevenson may be making a big mistake by jumping into a fight at 140 pounds, where natural size, strength, and explosiveness matter far more than pure skill. The concern isn't about Shakur's talent. Few doubt his elite ability, but there are questions about how his body will respond after gaining weight. Fighters who've made similar jumps warned that Stevenson could look noticeably slower at 140, losing the sharp footwork and lightning-quick reactions that define his dominance. While Lopez thrives on speed, power, and physicality at that weight.
I don't think that, well, maybe. I mean, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen, or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that. So we just don't know.
Yeah, the thing is I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, yeah. And you're fighting at 140, so let's see. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
Yeah, and then, okay, let me put this scenario. What if it's the Teofimo that beat Lomachenko? What if that Teofimo shows up?
Like I said, at Lomachenko, it's a not easy fight. Teofimo's able to be in the ring with different type of fighters and figure it out. The fighters that Shakur Stevenson was in with, they couldn't figure it out, or get close to figuring it out. Whereas Teofimo had to figure out that type of style, and Lomachenko is a hard fight to fight. So that's why this fight is so interesting. And for Shakur Stevenson to move to 140 to fight him is definitely a hats off to him.
Do you have a favorite on paper in that fight at all, Shane?
I believe it's 50-50. It's a fight that I just have to sit down and watch.
Many boxing pros are leaning toward Teofimo Lopez as their favorite in this fight, and their reasoning goes beyond hype or popularity. Fighters and trainers point to Teofimo's natural size and strength as major advantages, especially against a skilled but lighter opponent like Shakur Stevenson. Pros also highlight Lopez's explosiveness, fast twitch power, and ability to hurt opponents early, traits that can change a fight instantly. While they respect Shakur's defense and ring IQ, several insiders believe Teofimo's physicality and timing could disrupt Shakur's rhythm and force him into uncomfortable exchanges. Experience at junior welterweight combined with a championship pedigree has many professionals believing Teofimo is better suited for this matchup and more likely to impose his will over 12 rounds. Max Kellerman points out that Shakur enters the fight with more to lose because of his technical reputation and undefeated image. Teofimo, on the other hand, has more to gain as an underdog, where pressure is lower and opportunity is higher, making the fight dangerous and unpredictable.
But Teo's, he's a very special athlete, and as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect.
Mike,
people used to look at him and say, "Oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing." It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Yes. Teofimo is a two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him. Right, he outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him. He outfought him. He had
Yeah.
speed, power, and then again against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog. So he saves his best for his biggest moments.
Yes, and Max, and look, I give Shakur a lot of credit, right? Because we see fighters like Boots Ennis that want to do a tune-up fight at their first fight at the new weight, and like Devin Haney, Shakur saying, "I'll go right to the top dog at 140." So props to my best friend Shakur Stevenson, Max.
Yes.
But look,
What is the beef with you two?
I think it's fun, you know. I think we. I don't think it's real hate.
You have this ability to bring out a certain kind of animosity in people in the boxing world. Does this extend to outside the boxing world?
Yeah, it does.
Or
yeah.
It does.
I've had that ability since I've been like 4 years old, Max, and growing up. But look, you asked about Teo. I actually think this fight is about Teofimo more than it is about Shakur Stevenson. And
Both Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez bring elite skills to this January 31st showdown. And many boxing insiders are calling it a genuine 50-50 matchup rather than a one-sided affair. Stevenson's technical brilliance, defensive mastery, and ring IQ make him one of the most difficult fighters to hit, while Lopez's power, athleticism, and experience at 140 pounds give him serious upside if he can land his big shots.
Start with you.
I think it's a very special fight. It's the type of matchups we always are acting for. When it comes to explosiveness, I would have to go with Teo. When it comes to actual rapid speed, I would have to go with Teo. But when it comes to body punching, when it comes to good timing, when it comes to craft, I would have to give all of that to Shakur Stevenson.
What do you think, Doug?
They're both boxers. I look at Stevenson as a versatile technician. I look at Teofimo. He's a boxer puncher, but his specialty is his counter punching. Listen, if Stevenson wants to be on his stick and move game, very difficult style matchup for Teofimo, and maybe not that entertaining to the fans.
Because Stevenson's longer.
Exactly.
Stevenson's defense probably the best in the game,
and
he's longer.
Great reflexes and timing.
Experts like Andre Ward believe the smallest margins, execution on fight night, timing, and conditioning could decide the winner because stylistically there's little to separate them at the top level. Ultimately, both fighters are highly skilled, and this fight might come down to who shows up sharper and more composed under pressure. Many experts see Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez as a fascinating tactical puzzle where strategy, energy, and timing could decide the outcome. Lopez is often described as a fighter who starts fast and relies on mid-range explosiveness, sharp counters, and bursts of pressure early in fights. If he can't sustain that intensity for all 12 rounds, some analysts wonder whether his output might taper in the later championship rounds, opening the door for Stevenson to turn the tide. Conversely, if Stevenson drops the opening rounds while feeling out Lopez, he could be forced into a more offensive posture later, potentially creating an exciting high-tempo finish. If Lopez clearly loses the first few rounds, Stevenson could then settle into a rhythm and cruise to a comfortable unanimous decision.
I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds. You know, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, you know, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. Now to make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think T.O. is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where, he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight, you know what I mean, where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see.
Insiders believe that fights like Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez are exactly what boxing needs right now. Legendary former champion Roy Jones Jr. described the matchup as a skill versus skill fight on par with elite showdowns like Canelo versus Crawford, and said bouts of this caliber bring credibility and excitement back to the sport. Analysts also point out that having two accomplished prime fighters with contrasting styles, Stevenson's elite technical boxing against Lopez's power and aggression, creates the kind of high-stakes competitive clash that can reignite fan interest and deliver memorable moments.